corner. Extra offensive lineman in there on 3rd and 5. Pitch for Harris. Has the first down and breaks it. It's gone. Damian Harris through everyone. Up the middle for the touchdown. 4 yards on the score.
And welcome to Interesting to See, your daily sports podcast, news, narratives, takes, and gambling. The Patriots did the 2-point conversion on the Damian Harris touchdown. They beat the Buffalo Bills 14-10 in a game that saw win as the main storyline. I'm Nick, your host. It's going to be a bit of a shorter show today, hopefully. Get in and get out of here. Oh, I put this can on my eyes. It feels so good. Okay, top story today. Heisman finalists announced yesterday. I don't know if that's actually the top story. There's some other stories. We'll get to those in a minute. The Heisman finalists are quarterback Bryce Young, quarterback C.J. Stroud, quarterback Kenny Pickett, and defensive end Aiden Hutchinson. Aiden Hutchinson, of course, is filling the token defensive player role. He won't win. He might. A lot of Michigan people, a lot of influence, a lot of Michigan people. I don't know if he should or shouldn't. Bryce Young looked dynamic against Georgia. C.J. Stroud, I think, is one of the best players in the country, of course. And Kenny Pickett had the fake slide, which he should be fined for that. I don't know if you saw this fake slide. Huge run. He faked the slide. He went up. He scored. He went all the way in. The next time, you target him next time, right? You just knock him out. You have to. I mean, it's so screwed up. I absolutely hate that. I think we'll check on Bovada, actually. So we'll pull up all football. College football. Let's see if we can do it here. Look at that. I'm trying to find the Heisman Trophy stuff. I saw that some lines had Bryce Young as the favorite. He's been the favorite for kind of a long time, I think. Let's see what the number is exactly. Some cool bets on here, though. Yeah, Bryce Young's the favorite at minus 200. That's a big line. That's a pretty big line. So Bryce Young's the favorite. I'm sure he's going to win. I mean, yeah, I'm sure he's going to win. Him and C.J. Stroud are freshmen. 2 freshmen have won, Jameis Winston and, of course, Johnny Manziel. I thought Johnny Manziel is one of a couple players who should have won multiple Heismans, him and Tim Tebow. That's just my opinion. And I will take that to the grave. Let's move to hockey, where Philadelphia was honoring police dogs, one of whom dropped a deuce right on center ice. Unbelievable. Look at it. I'm pulling it up on Twitter. There he is. He's just right in the middle of the Flyer logo. Oh, look at him. What a good boy. Who's a good boy? That's hilarious. And the Flyers, I mean, you can't make this up. They are trash this year. They just fired their coach, Alain Vigneault. Good boy. Taking a dump right there. Good boy. Catch up on some NFL storylines from over the weekend. Tennessee Titans head coach Mike Vrabel, who is on a bye this weekend with the Titans, which is ridiculous that there are byes this late. Mike Vrabel chimed in on Twitter. So the NFL has an officiating Twitter account. I'll pull it up here so you guys can see it, getting better at this thing. They ruled that there was a pass that was incomplete. So and it was like not full process of the catch. So here's the exact quote from Twitter. Let me put on my spectacles. The ruling on the field in #Denver versus KC was an incomplete pass. After review, it was determined that KC 87, that's Travis Kelce, did not fully complete the process of a catch. Because the third element of a catch, -time, was not met, therefore the ruling on the field stood as complete. Tennessee head coach Mike Vrabel subtweeted a screenshot of the NFL rulebook. Article 3, completed or incompleted pass. A player who makes a catch may advance the ball. A forward pass is complete by the offense. Yep, that's super important to include there. There's a parenthetical that says by the offense. Huh. Nice. A forward pass is complete by the offense or intercepted by the defense, no shit, in the field of play at the sideline or in the end zone of a player who is inbounds. A, secures control of the ball in his hands, arms prior to the ball touching the ground. B, touches the ground inbounds with both feet and any part of his body other than his hands. And C, both A and B have been fulfilled, and performs any act common to the game, e.g., tuck the ball away, extend forward, take an additional step, turn upfield, or avoid or ward off an opponent. Or he maintains control of the ball long enough to do so. So Mike Vrabel is essentially saying, I disagree with you. Unbelievable. It's just him saying, I don't think he's got any specific bone to pick with the National Football League. I do think that he just is kind of pointing out, nobody knows what the hell a catch is in any level of football. What are you people doing? Which I don't blame him for. What the hell are we doing? Yeah, I mean, I don't even know. But good for him, not being scared. I love that. Good for Mike Vrabel. Should we move on to sad news, or we'll keep it in the National Football League? Sure. Amari Cooper doesn't like the rules of playing against COVID. Amari Cooper tested positive, and he is not vaccinated. He said, quote, "It was rough. Michael Jordan played with the flu. That's how I looked at it. It was a restriction of not being able to play with what I had. It was tough, knowing that I could physically have gone out there and played, but the restrictions didn't allow me to." Yep. Yeah. So, this is ridiculous. Good for him. I mean, Alabama, University of Alabama educated, can't make that up. We've got some sad news to report. Something really crazy is happening. So first of all, there's been this stem of horse deaths and injuries that have happened at the Santa Anita race course in California. Now, a lot of people in the last couple of years, this happened a couple of years ago, a lot of people blame like the track conditions for the reasons that horses need to be either euthanized, or they were getting hurt enough to need to be euthanized, or they were like having heart attacks and things. Well, a Kentucky Derby winner just worked out at the Santa Anita and died. Medina Spirit, who won a very important 2020 Kentucky Derby, which was held in fall, which was actually pretty sweet. And I think that maybe the pandemic made the schedules cool, but everybody just liked the way things were. Like, I'm really having a panic attack that we're going to have another crappy July because the NBA and the NHL don't understand how sick it was to have stuff in July. Losers. Anyway, so Medina Spirit won the Kentucky Derby in 2020, and Medina Spirit died at the Santa Anita track. Nobody knows at the time. I haven't checked in on it. I looked into it yesterday. That there was he died suddenly. Sirens went off. Other horses were there working out. Now, the owner of Medina Spirit, Bob Baffert, has long been associated with rumors and allegations and positive tests of pretty severe doping. There's a real doping problem, which is so screwed up in horse racing. They're animals, bro. Like, horses do love to run, and they like to be used for work, and they're friends. They have the mentality of, like, I don't even know, like a minor human being, but their personalities are like dogs. They like that stuff. But they shouldn't be given steroids for racing. I mean, that's cruelty. They like to race. They're human tools. They're awesome. They love to do that, but giving it steroids. So this is going to be a thing. It's going to be an ongoing investigation in professional sports. I mean, I have to imagine. Right. Other news in college football yesterday, Mario Cristobal left the University of Oregon for the University of Miami head coaching job. Good for Mario. So here's the timeline of events. Coaching carousel is happening. Mario's name gets thrown around at Miami. A lead donor for Miami gets told to eat shit from Ole Miss, and that Lane Kiffin's going to sign a massive extension at $7.5 million after I think he was around $3 million a year. $7.5 million is an enormous amount for a Mississippi school, but Ole Miss vastly overachieved. So when Miami gets told to F off for Lane Kiffin, then they will go hunting. They want an alumni. Mario Cristobal was an alumni there. He coached there. Then he took a lateral move because Miami was such a dumpster fire and he didn't want his career to go up in flames. He took a lateral move, which I believe was like assistant head coach at the University of Alabama. He won a championship with Alabama, beating Oregon, actually, in the national championship game. No, he didn't. That was Ohio State beat Alabama. Ohio State beat Oregon. So that was when that happened. He was on those Alabama teams, 2014, 2015. Oregon loses the national championship with Mark Helfrich. It doesn't work out with Mark Helfrich. They fire Mark Helfrich, and they're looking for a new coach. They get Mario Cristobal from Miami and from Alabama, and he made Oregon tougher, and it worked out a lot. They ran the ball down Ohio State's throat. In fact, people forget that what Michigan did to Ohio State, Oregon also did to Ohio State. And not to make it about that, but they didn't have their superstar edge rusher. Oregon didn't even need him. Just saying, Michigan. So then Mario Cristobal, he's there. So while the coaching carousel is happening, and Lane Kiffin tells Miami to go to hell, they want this Mario Cristobal guy. Well, Mario is like kind of interested, and there's money on the line, but Oregon is really good. He's made Oregon into a really good program. The Miami Hurricane the University of Miami Hurricane Athletic Department did not have an athletic director. So they hired an athletic director. All the while this is happening, there are boosters, some of which are very famous, like that got Miami into all that trouble about 10 years ago, that are like throwing money at people and essentially running the insane asylum. They are in charge of the athletic department because Manny Diaz, who I believe came from Temple, he hasn't been fired yet. And his contract is not expiring. And they're like, we're offering the job to Mario Cristobal. And Cristobal comes out and is like, I'm considering this job. I'm like, well, they actually had a head coach at the time. They had a head coach. And then Cristobal, he accepts the job yesterday. And I tried to find this podcast and I couldn't find out. I figured I probably would be sued. And he did the greatest thing ever. It was like Brian Kelly's exit from Notre Dame was whatever. It was clunky, but Cristobal's was also clunky. He called a meeting with the team. He said, it's whatever. Then he called into this statewide radio show and he's like, yeah, I don't really know what to tell you. I want to go to Miami. Oregon people on Twitter are they're losing their mind. And as an Ole Miss alumni, I can tell you that there are Division I programs and then there are like Division I programs. Oregon is one of these teams that is under the delusion that they are the latter, and they're not. And they probably, the only way you can get to that point is to spend money and make it a culture thing. Like football has to matter more than anything else at your school in order to be, at that level. And it has to be the thing your school is known for nationally. When you think of like Notre Dame, you think of Joe Montana and them on TV. When you think of Alabama, you think of football. You think of Penn State, you think of football. You think of Ohio State, you think of football. Like, name me a famous Ohio State alumni for something other than football. And that's how it has to work. Oregon's not that way. They do a bunch of stuff. It's like this cool, trendy West Coast thing. So it was a bit of a shock to those guys. Now all the Oregon jokes are being made. Nobody knows who they're going to get. The rumor is Dave Aranda, who I think was there. Dave Aranda, of course, is I'm trying to get this right, the head coach of Baylor, who will be playing Ole Miss in the Sugar Bowl. And last time Ole Miss was in the Sugar Bowl, it didn't technically happen, but they annihilated Oklahoma State, and there was a big man touchdown. So look at this. It's all coming full circle in a way. I want to shout to College Football Reddit, who says that they should be forced to hire Ed Orgeron, and he must be forced to change his name to Ed Oregon. I mean, does anybody disagree? Who says no, right? That's what people say. Who says no to Ed Oregon? Anybody? Anybody said no to Ed Oregon? Oh, man. So this is going to keep happening. We're going to start to turn up the NBA and NHL coverage as we round out a football season. A couple weeks to go in the NFL. Only bowl games remain in college, with the exception of the greatest bowl game, the Army-Navy game. Commander-in-Chief's trophy, I think, is it on the line this year? I actually don't know. I'll look into that as we start to preview the game. Preview Thursday Night Football and do a little bit more gambling on Wednesdays and try to find some more controversies. I was going to save the horse racing controversy for them, but I'm sure some things will be available to all of us. Like, rate, review, subscribe. I really appreciate it. 5-star reviews, download, delete, download again. I'll be back better than ever on Wednesday morning.